Alright, here's another chess video. Um, this is the mate with the bishop and knight and king. Um, and red arrow and green arrow. And so these arrows are here to designate the paths of the pieces that you're using. So the bishop will pretty much pursue a path along this diagonal, and he may go back and forth depending on what the black king does, and he may have to come back here. He will eventually deliver mate along this diagonal. Along this diagonal. The knight, see, the king will just pretty much go one square at a time along this rank. The knight will go in this path, and that's really all there is to it. It's just going to go file after file, and then once it gets to this point, it will do this maneuver and move one file over after two moves by backing up one, moving over two. And there are two checks, one delivered by the bishop, one delivered by the knight. Both pretty much force the king over this way. So don't just check the king aimlessly. You really need to do it with the purpose of moving the king over to the square of the color of the bishop. The bishop that delivers the square, the corner square you need to move the king toward should be the same color that the bishop is on. Okay, so from here we need to move the king over, so we take away this square, and he only has one square to go to. This is the direction. This is pretty much the path the king wants to move it toward. He wants to come out this way, and he can still come back this way if he likes on the next move, or even go here. But what we're going to do is force him to take this more circuitous path here by playing a seemingly counterintuitive move by the knight. Now the king and a minor piece seem very strong when they're together, so it's a bit counterintuitive then if you move a piece away to actually aid in the process of something like mate or whatever. But what's happening here is we're adding another square along this rank. We're adding another square to the defense, and so the king can come back here, in which case we play a check and move over. So we're still going to play this path with the knight and move the king over, but if he goes further out, so I'll show you that. If he comes back, we just check him, he moves over, it'll transpose. Take away a square first, their bishop. But if he just goes ahead and moves toward this escape route, well then we need to move our king in order to provide our knight with a safe square to land on. The thing is, we're going to create a safety net over here. We're going to create, well, a diachromatic blockade with the knight and bishop. The knight needs to get to this light square, so the king, this is why the king has to move over. Everything is so multi-purpose in these types of positions. The king needs to move over partly to take over this other square here, but partly to actually, yes, provide the knight that square to land on. And if you remember when we played knight here check, the knight goes there anyway, and then we protect it with the king and then take away this square with the bishop, forcing the king over with check. So the king comes out, And boy, it looks dangerous. Looks like he's going to get out because he's got, all these different squares he can go to. But if you just look now, the knight can go to this square and take over these two. Now he can do it now on the move, and he does that. And then on the next move, regardless of where the king goes, this bishop can repudiate the king's idea by coming to the defense along this diagonal here. And so the king has to choose from among 5 different moves, and it looks like it might be complete chaos, calculating chaos. But essentially, we're corralling him to this edge of the board, and all the pieces that we are playing need to do is follow these patterns. That's all they need to do. Those are the only moves that mate the king. And we just need to make the right move at the right time. So when the king goes here, obviously we can't move the knight back. He'll take it. We can't move the king over. We have to move the bishop somewhere. It's called a tempo move. It is a passive-aggressive move. And I use the term passive-aggressive loosely. A lot of the moves that you make that take away squares are really not aggressive in the usual sense. They're not attacking anything. They're just taking away squares. In this case, we're not taking away squares. We're giving the move away to the black king. So the black king needs to go to some square besides this furthermost square. So when we move here, we're just taking a tempo. What we want to do is actually take away this square, and we want to do it by occupying this square. So here he goes, and now we do it. Now we occupy that square. We've taken it away, and he has to move some other place, which will allow our king to move in, taking over this second rank access square. Okay, so he moves. I've just chosen this move. A lot of these positions will transpose. Again, the only thing you need to do is make a so-called tempo with the bishop in order to let the king move to a square where you can complete the pattern. It's just a pattern. So here goes the king. We move our king in, and yeah, it looks like he can get out this way, and our bishop will require a move to get to this diagonal, should he desire to go back out that way. So let's take a look at that variation. If he comes back this way in order to get out by this diagonal, we'll simply move the bishop here, which means that he will have to make progress this way, which will give us a move in that direction, and we can continue our pattern. It's just a matter of the pattern's going to continue. It's just a matter of whether or not it's disrupted. And so here he has to move back that way, no choice. And so a very key move in this position is a bishop tempo move again. See, the thing is, we need to check the enemy king with the knight right here if he comes back. Because if we move with our king, then he has a way out this way. So if he comes here, and if I play knight b7 check now, if I try to complete my pattern, he just gets out. So I need to move my king back, actually, and just repeat the position. And every time I do that, it adds a move. Every time I do that, it increases the chance that I might get a draw by a threefold repetition. So we don't want to do that. Instead, we make a tempo move with our bishop, and we want him on a checking square where we can check him, and that will give us the same position we had over here. When we started, we moved the knight back and then checked him when he moved to f8, or he can simply go on. It's the same thing. We move our king over, and now our king's gone from here to here to here, and he's obviously, if he's going to try to get out, and it'll transpose to the main line. So we're going to move back to that real quick. And we take away the square, move in with our king. Um, if he comes here, we just check him, he moves forward, and we'll be able to mate him that way, rather move him over. And if he decides to try to stay in the second rank by any means necessary, we need to make another tempo move with our bishop. And this is our, again, the lesson to learn here is that the bishop can make all the tempo moves it needs in order for the king to be where we need him to be in order to checkmate him. So let's say the king moves back. Well, now we can move our knights up, because we can take away this square with the bishop and this square with the knight. If he comes here, we check him. If he doesn't, we move in with our king. And that could probably be reversed. That order could probably be reversed from here. You could probably either move the king in first, but it's better, I think. No, I think you need to move the knight back, because you want to check him so he moves forward, unless he moves forward on his own. If he moves forward on his own, whoops. If he moves forward on his own, then you just move him to your king. If he doesn't, you check him. Okay, so let's say he comes back. Now we cut off this square here with our knight, and our knight just makes that. That's when we make our move with the knight. It's when he wants to come out there, and so he tries to make some headway with that, and with his aim to escape, but we cut it off. And again, our king has just gone along this rank. He wants to come out there, we check him, and he has one move to make. This is the tail end of our knight saga. It has to do a little loop-de-loop, whatever you want to call it. Comes back here, gives the king a square to move, and we don't want to come here right now because this check will be a stalemate, so we need to make another tempo with our bishop. The king moves, we check the king now, and our knight has made its complete circuit, our king has made its complete circuit, and now it's just a matter of the bishops moving in for the kill. And that's it. The bishop and knight checkmate.